Have you ever felt like you're searching for something without knowing exactly what? That no matter how many people you have around, something's still missing? That emptiness that insists on showing up even in the busiest moments of your life? If you're here, you probably know that feeling well. Maybe you've tried everything to fill it and nothing worked right. Or maybe you're tired of trying and just accept that's how it is. But what if I told you that something is coming your way? Something that will arrive precisely when you stop searching so desperately. Stay with me until the end, because this will make total sense. Life has a curious way of working. It seems to enjoy catching us off guard, especially with good things. Have you ever noticed how the best opportunities show up when you're not even thinking about them? Like that job opening that appears when you've finally made peace with your current one? Or how you find forgotten money in your pocket exactly when you don't need it anymore? The same thing happens with relationships. That special person, that group of friends who really gets you, that sense of belonging you've been searching for. All of this has its own way of arriving. And it's usually quite different from what we imagine. The problem is that when we're alone, our mind goes into overdrive. It wants to solve everything quickly, wants to force encounters, wants to speed up processes that have their own timing. It's like trying to make a plant grow faster by pulling its leaves. It doesn't work and can even ruin everything. Real life doesn't follow a romantic movie script. There's no background music or slow motion at the right moment. Things happen in the middle of the rush, when you're distracted buying bread or waiting for the bus. And maybe that's exactly why they're so special. When you're desperate for company, you emit a kind of heavy energy. People feel this, even without knowing how to explain it. It's like that friend who only calls when they need something. You notice the difference in the approach, right? Neediness has its own smell and pushes away more than it attracts. Now let's talk about something many people confuse. Being alone isn't the same thing as feeling lonely. You can be at a crowded party, surrounded by acquaintances, and still feel an emptiness in your chest. On the other hand, you can be alone at home, doing your things, and feel completely at peace. True loneliness isn't about how many people are physically close to you. It's about that feeling of disconnection, like you're an alien trying to understand Earth's customs. It's when you smile in conversations, but inside you're screaming that nobody truly understands you. Often we create an invisible wall around ourselves. We only show the edited version of ourselves, the one we think others will accept better. Then we get frustrated because nobody connects with who we really are. But how can they connect if we don't even show who we truly are? Internal disconnection is like having Wi-Fi but not being able to access the internet. All the equipment is working, but something doesn't click. And usually that something is ourselves. Our relationship with our own thoughts, fears, and flaws. Some people run from their own company as if it were something dangerous. They turn on the TV, the radio, call someone, anything to avoid being alone with their own thoughts. But there's the problem. If you can't be okay in your own company, how do you expect others to want to be there? Learning to be friends with yourself isn't cheesy self-help. It's a practical and necessary skill. It's knowing you can count on yourself in difficult moments. It's stopping treating yourself like an enemy and starting to treat yourself at least like a nice acquaintance. Those who can't stand themselves are always seeking external validation. They need others to say everything's okay, that they're a good person, that they deserve to be loved. It becomes an emotional dependency that exhausts anyone. It's too much responsibility to put on someone else's shoulders. When you learn to enjoy your own company, something magical happens. You stop desperately needing others and start wanting to be with them. The difference is huge. Wanting is light, needing is heavy, and people feel this difference. Being okay with yourself doesn't mean becoming a hermit. It means having a home inside yourself, a place you can always return to when the world gets too noisy. It's having that solid foundation that nobody can take away from you. Friendship with yourself starts with small kindnesses. Would you make special coffee for a friend who's sad? Then do it for yourself too. Would you buy a book your friend really wants? Why not buy the one you've been wanting for ages? These small acts of self-care are like investments in your emotional account. Every time you treat yourself well, you're telling yourself that you matter. And when you believe you matter, others start believing it too. An unhurried bath is almost a ritual of self-love. Not that 5-minute rush, but a real bath, where you pay attention to the hot water, the smell of soap, the feeling of cleanliness. It's a moment that's just yours, without rush, without pressure. Having a hobby that nobody needs to understand is liberating. It can be anything: collecting rocks, drawing, learning dead languages, making origami. The important thing is having something that's just yours, that you do just because you like it, without needing to explain it to anyone. Reading a book in total silence is another type of self-care. It's not about productivity or personal growth. It's about giving yourself permission to get lost in a story, to travel without leaving your place, to feel emotions borrowed from fictional characters. These moments of caring for yourself are constant reminders that you deserve attention, you deserve time, you deserve kindness. And when you internalize this message, you stop accepting less than you deserve from others too. Self-care doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. It can be organizing your sock drawer, making special tea, listening to that song that gives you chills, or simply taking 5 deep breaths in a row. They're small acts of rebellion against a world that teaches you not to have time for yourself. When you take good care of yourself, something interesting happens to your energy. You become more attractive, not in the physical sense, but in the energetic sense. People want to be around someone who's okay with themselves. It's like you radiate a peace that others want to feel too. Now let's talk about something that can completely change your perspective on loneliness. There's an invisible bridge that connects all of us, and that bridge is called compassion. But we're always so focused on receiving that we forget to give. You keep waiting for someone to appear to understand you, welcome you, keep you company. But what if you were that person for someone else first? What if, instead of waiting to be found, you went out looking for someone who's also lost? Compassion has a strange power to dissolve barriers. When you look at someone with genuine kindness, that person feels it. They might not know how to explain it, but they feel that you're safe, that you understand something about pain and hope. Simple acts of kindness create ripples you can't even imagine. Holding the door for someone, genuinely smiling at the store cashier, asking how someone's day was and really listening to the answer. These are small seeds of human connection. What's interesting is that when you focus on relieving others' loneliness, your own loneliness starts to diminish. It's not magic, it's just that you stop staring at your own belly button and realize everyone's kind of lost too. And that, in a strange way, is comforting. Compassion breaks down those invisible walls we build without realizing it. You know that feeling that everyone's doing fine and only you're suffering? When you act with kindness, you realize everyone's pretending to be okay too. And then you don't feel so alone in this. Being useful to someone gives a sense of purpose that no therapy can provide. I'm not talking about sacrificing yourself for others, but finding small and genuine ways to make a difference in someone's life. It could be teaching something you know, listening to someone vent, or just being present. Scientific research confirms what the heart already knew. Helping others is good for the helper too. It reduces stress, improves mood, decreases anxiety, and even strengthens the immune system. The human body is programmed to feel good when doing good. There's a special chemistry that happens in the brain when you help someone. A combination of hormones is released that scientists call helper's high. It's a natural pleasure, no side effects, available whenever you want it. Altruism also creates automatic connections. When you help someone, that person remembers you positively. It's not about taking advantage, it's about creating genuine bonds based on good things. And these bonds have a different quality from those created just for convenience. But be careful not to become that person who helps everyone expecting something in return. Self-interested kindness is spotted quickly and causes the opposite effect. Genuine help is what you offer without expecting anything more than the satisfaction of having done something good. The power of altruism lies precisely in its gratuity. When you give without expecting to receive, you're telling the universe you have abundance to share. And the universe has a curious way of reciprocating this generosity, usually when you least expect it. Loneliness diminishes when you become part of someone's solution. Suddenly, you're no longer just a problem to be solved, but someone who solves problems too. This role change completely changes how you see yourself and how others see you. Now let's talk about one of the most important things: finding your tribe. I'm not talking about just any group of people, but those who really speak your inner language. Those with whom you can be yourself without fear of judgment. Your tribe isn't necessarily people most similar to you. Sometimes they're those who have the same values, the same dreams, or who simply understand your inside jokes. They're the people who make you feel like you've finally come home. The problem is, many people look for their tribe in the wrong places. They keep trying to fit into groups that will never really accept who they are. It's like trying to fit a round piece into a square hole. You might force it in, but it'll never feel natural. Finding your tribe sometimes means accepting that you don't belong in certain places. And that's okay. Better to be alone being yourself than surrounded by people pretending to be who you're not. The feeling of relief when you find your people makes up for all the waiting. Your tribe might be in places you never imagined. Maybe it's in a pottery class, a walking group, a dance class, or even in a bank line where you strike up a conversation with someone. True encounters happen in the most unlikely moments. What defines your tribe isn't age, profession, or social class. It's that feeling that you understand each other without having to explain much. It's when you tell a story, and the person understands not just what happened, but how you felt. It's when the silence between you is comfortable. Sometimes your tribe is small. Maybe it's just one person, or two, or three. Size doesn't matter. The quality of connection does. It's better to have one true friend than 10 superficial acquaintances. Quality always beats quantity in relationships. Displacement is one of the most painful feelings that exists. It's when you're physically present in a place, but emotionally, you're on another planet. Everyone's talking, laughing, interacting, and you feel like an observer of a play you're not part of. Being in environments where you don't belong is like trying to breathe underwater. Technically, you're there, but something essential is missing. You smile, participate, do what's expected, but inside you're screaming that nobody truly understands you. This displacement isn't your fault or others. Sometimes it's just a matter of incompatibility, like trying to listen to rock at a salsa party. Nothing against salsa, but it's not your music. And forcing yourself to like it will only make you more frustrated. The weight of displacement gets even heavier when you try to force yourself to belong. You change your way of speaking, your tastes, your opinions, everything to be accepted. But then you realize that who's being accepted isn't you. It's a fake version you created. And that's even lonelier. The intensification of loneliness in inadequate environments happens because you're spending energy pretending to be someone else. It's exhausting to maintain a mask all the time. And at the end of the day, when you take off the mask, you feel lonelier than before, because nobody knows who you really are. It's like screaming in a language nobody understands. You're speaking, you're expressing yourself, but the message doesn't get through. And then you start doubting whether the problem is your way of communicating, or if people simply don't want to understand you. Recognizing that you don't belong in a specific place is the first step to finding where you really belong. Stop wasting energy trying to fit where you don't fit, and use that energy to look for your true place in the world. Here we'll touch on a point that many lonely people don't like to hear. Sometimes we ourselves create obstacles to the connections we desire. And one of the biggest obstacles is idealizing perfect friendships and relationships. Many lonely people have a very romantic idea of what a true friendship should be like. They think it should be like in the movies. No conflicts, no misunderstandings, no boring moments. Just joy, total understanding, and perfect harmony all the time. Reality is quite different. Real friendships are messy, have ups and downs, moments of irritation, and moments of pure joy. Sometimes you'll want to throw your friend out the window, and the next day you'll be laughing together about something silly. That's not a flaw. It's humanity. When you idealize relationships too much, you end up pushing away real people who could be great company. You keep looking for flaws, expecting disappointments, or simply thinking you're not feeling the perfect chemistry you imagined you should feel. The best friendships are those where you can be annoying to each other and still like each other. Where you can have a terrible day, be kind of unbearable, and the person doesn't abandon you for it. Where you can disagree about important things and still respect each other. Perfect friendship is a dangerous myth because it creates impossible expectations. Nobody can be perfect all the time, including you. And when you expect perfection from others, they'll probably expect perfection from you too. It's a sure recipe for mutual frustrations. The most lasting friendships are those where you've learned to accept and even like each other's flaws. Where your friend's stubborn way becomes something funny instead of irritating. Where each person's weird quirks become unique and beloved characteristics. Social perfectionism also prevents you from showing who you really are. You're so worried about not disappointing that you only show your Sunday best version to people. Then they fall in love with this edited version and you're afraid to show the rest. Accepting imperfection in friendships means accepting that you'll disappoint each other sometimes, that you'll have days when you won't understand each other, that sometimes one will need more than the other, and that all of this is normal and doesn't mean the friendship isn't good. Imperfection is what makes human relationships interesting and real. It's what makes each friendship unique, with its own dynamic, its own inside jokes, its own rituals. Perfection would be boring and artificial. When you stop looking for the perfect friendship and start valuing real friendships, your social life changes completely. You stop being afraid to show yourself as you are, and people start connecting with the real version of you. Now we come to one of the hardest parts to accept when you're desperate for company. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is stop looking. Let go of the anxiety, the rush, the urgent need to solve your loneliness. This doesn't mean giving up or conforming. It means changing your strategy from desperate searching to peaceful openness. It's like the difference between chasing a butterfly and standing still in a garden full of flowers, waiting for it to land on your shoulder. The power of surrender lies in trusting that good things have their own timing. When you're too anxious about something, your energy becomes agitated, heavy, kind of sticky. People feel this and instinctively move away. Nobody wants to be the solution to someone's desperation. When you release that pressure, your energy changes completely. You become lighter, more natural, more attractive in the energetic sense. People feel comfortable around you because they don't feel like you need them to be happy. Surrender isn't passivity. It's a very specific action. You stop forcing and start allowing. Stop pushing doors that are locked and start noticing the ones that are opening by themselves. It's a subtle but powerful shift in perspective. What you desperately seek has a strange tendency to run away. It's like trying to catch soap with wet hands. The more you squeeze, the more it slips. But when you relax your hand, the soap stops slipping and you can hold it. Life has its own intelligence that we underestimate. It knows exactly what you need and when you need it. But it only delivers when you're ready to receive, not when you're desperate to grab. Letting go doesn't mean stopping taking care of yourself or being open to new connections. It means stopping turning every encounter into a job interview for best friend. It means interacting with people for the pleasure of interaction, not as a strategy to end your loneliness. Surrender allows you to be spontaneous again. When you're no longer trying to impress or win over anyone, you can simply be yourself. And it's this natural and uncomplicated version of you that people find most interesting. The silence of surrender is different from the silence of giving up. One is peace, the other is sadness. One is confidence, the other is defeat. Learning the difference between them is fundamental to understanding when you're really letting go or just surrendering. Time has a wisdom that our anxiety can't understand. When you're suffering, it seems like each minute lasts an hour. When you're happy, hours pass like minutes. Time is elastic and has its own purpose in each phase of life. Waiting isn't a punishment from the universe, it's preparation. It's the time you need to become the person who will attract what you really desire. It's time to learn, grow, know yourself better, develop qualities you didn't have yet. Imagine if you met the love of your life at a moment when you were completely emotionally messed up. Probably wouldn't work out, right? The waiting time serves for you to organize yourself internally, to arrive at the meeting being the best version of yourself. The right timing isn't about calendar, it's about inner readiness. It's about you being in an emotional and mental place where you can recognize and receive what's good for you. Sometimes we need to mature a little more before being ready for certain connections. What seems like delay is just the exact rhythm of what's approaching. Each day of waiting is preparing you for something specific. It's teaching you patience, self-knowledge, to value your own company. All these are qualities that will help you when the right person appears. Time as a teacher teaches lessons that can only be learned in practice. It teaches that you're stronger than you imagined, that you can be okay even alone, that your happiness doesn't completely depend on other people. These are valuable lessons. The rush to solve loneliness sometimes makes you accept any company, even if it's not good for you. The waiting time helps you develop criteria to understand what you really want in a relationship, not to settle for less than you deserve. Each phase of life has its purpose. The lonely phase has its too. It's when you learn to know yourself without others' influence. When you develop your own tastes, your own opinions, your own personality. It's an investment in who you are. Time also teaches that loneliness is temporary. Everything in life is cyclical. Moments of connection, moments of loneliness, moments of connection again. Understanding this takes some pressure and desperation off difficult moments. Waiting develops your capacity to appreciate when good things finally arrive. Those who never went thirsty don't value a glass of water as much. Those who never felt alone don't fully understand the value of good company. Here we arrive at a truth that might sound strange at first. What you find out there is always a reflection of what you carry inside yourself. The people who appear in your life aren't prizes or coincidences. They're mirrors of what you've become. When you're desperate, you attract desperate people. When you're needy, you attract people who take advantage of others' neediness. When you're insecure, you attract people who confirm your insecurities. It's an invisible but very consistent law. On the other hand, when you're okay with yourself, you attract people who are also okay with themselves. When you're confident, you attract people who value confidence. When you're at peace, you attract people who also seek peace. This isn't esoteric or mystical. It's basic psychology. You emit signals through your posture, your way of speaking, your choices, your energy. And people pick up these signals unconsciously and respond to them. The unexpected encounter isn't a prize you win for having suffered enough. It's a mirror that reflects who you became during the growth process. It's life showing you that you're finally radiating what you always wanted to receive. If you want to find kind people, you need to be kind. If you want to find interesting people, you need to be interesting. If you want to find people who value you, you need to value yourself first. It sounds simple, but it's revolutionary when you really understand it. This means all the time you spent alone, taking care of yourself, getting to know yourself, developing your qualities, wasn't wasted time. It was time invested in becoming the person who will attract what you really desire in life. Life's mirror is relentless, but fair. It doesn't lie or romanticize. It shows exactly where you are emotionally through the people and situations you attract. And that's valuable information for your growth. When you understand this dynamic, you stop blaming others or bad luck for relationships that didn't work out. You understand that you have the power to change your results by first changing yourself. It's liberating to realize you have more control than you imagined. The reflection of what you become also explains why certain people simply disappear from your life when you change. It's not because they're bad, but because you no longer vibrate at the same frequency. It's natural and necessary for your growth. If loneliness has become such a heavy burden that you can't carry it alone anymore, seeking professional help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of emotional intelligence and self-care. Sometimes we need someone from outside to help us see what's right in front of us. A psychologist or therapist can help you understand patterns you can't see alone. Like that friend who notices you always choose unavailable people, or that you always sabotage yourself when things start going well. Professional guidance offers a safe space for you to explore your emotions without fear of judgment. It's a place where you can talk about your deepest fears, your insecurities, your hopes, without worrying about protecting someone's feelings. Sometimes chronic loneliness has roots in past experiences you don't even remember well. A professional can help you identify and process these experiences, relieving pain you've carried for years without knowing where it comes from. Therapy also teaches practical tools for dealing with social anxiety, low self-esteem, fear of rejection. These are techniques you can use daily to feel more confident in social interactions. Many people resist the idea of therapy because they think it's only for those who are really bad, or that it's an unnecessary luxury. But taking care of mental health is as important as taking care of physical health. You wouldn't expect a broken leg to heal by itself, right? A mental health professional can help you reorganize the internal chaos that loneliness sometimes creates. When you've been alone with your thoughts for a long time, they can become tangled, confused, exaggerated. An external perspective helps put everything in place. Seeking help also breaks isolation in a very specific way. You create a human connection based on care and growth. It's different from other relationships in your life, but it's a real and meaningful connection. Professional guidance can accelerate processes that alone could take years to resolve. It's like having a map in an unknown city. You could eventually find your way alone, but with help, you get there much faster, and with less suffering. There's no right age or specific situation to seek help. If you feel loneliness is affecting your quality of life, your work, your health, that's reason enough. The sooner you seek support, the faster you can start feeling better. Finally, we reach the point where everything connects, when you least expect it. This phrase might seem cliché, but it carries a deep truth about how life works. It's in this space between desperation and surrender that magic happens. Life reveals itself in the most unlikely moments. When you're in the bank line, bored, and strike up a conversation with someone who becomes a great friend. When you decide to take a course just because and meet incredible people. When you're buying coffee and someone bumps into you. This, when you least expect it, isn't about timing. It's about state of mind. It's about being open without being anxious. It's about being receptive without being needy. It's about being present in the moment instead of focused on the future. The interval between desperation and surrender is a very specific place. It's when you're no longer chasing, but you haven't given up either. It's when you're living your life normally, taking care of yourself, doing your things, but with your heart open to surprises. In this interval, you're being authentically yourself. You're not trying to impress anyone or hiding from everyone. You're simply existing, and this authenticity is magnetic. People feel when you're being real. It's in this state of relaxed openness that something greater comes to meet you. It could be a person, it could be an opportunity, it could be an understanding about yourself. But it's always something you weren't forcing to happen. The something greater isn't necessarily what you imagined you wanted. Sometimes it's better than you expected. Sometimes it's different, but exactly what you needed. Life has a creative way of fulfilling our requests that doesn't always match our expectations. When you stop searching desperately, you stop emitting an energy of neediness that pushes people away. Instead, you emit an energy of fullness that attracts. It's counterintuitive, but that's how it works. You find when you stop looking. The unexpected encounter usually happens when you're focused on other things. When you're investing in yourself, pursuing a dream, helping someone, or simply living your life with purpose. It's as if life rewards those who are busy being happy. The beauty of the unexpected is that it brings a quality of surprise and gratitude that the expected doesn't have. When you're not counting on something and it happens, the joy is pure. It's a gift you didn't know was coming. This whole process, the loneliness, self-knowledge, self-care, compassion for others, surrender, isn't a path to escape who you are. It's a path to become more fully who you always were, but maybe never had the courage to be. The person you become in this process is someone who no longer needs to fear loneliness, because you discovered you can be great company for yourself. And when you're no longer afraid of being alone, it becomes much easier to choose well who you want to be with. The journey from loneliness to connection isn't a straight line. It has comings and goings, moments of hope and moments of discouragement. But each step teaches you something valuable about yourself and about how to relate to the world. In the end, what you were looking for out there was inside you all along. Not in a cheesy self-help way, but in a very practical way. The capacity to love yourself, to take care of yourself, to be interesting, to be kind, to be brave. All those qualities you wanted to find in someone else. When you develop these qualities in yourself, two things happen. First, you stop feeling so alone because you have a rich relationship with yourself. Second, you attract people who also have these qualities. The unexpected encounter is deep down, you finding external reflections of the qualities you developed internally. It's life confirming that you did the necessary inner work and are now ready to share this abundance with someone special. If you made it this far, you already understand that your loneliness isn't a permanent sentence. It's a phase of life that has much to teach you if you're willing to learn. And most importantly, you're not as alone as you think. There's an invisible network of people who went through the same as you and understood the same truths. Your story of loneliness is transforming into a story of self-knowledge and growth. And soon, it will transform into a story of true connection. Because you will have become the person who deserves to find exactly what you're looking for, when you least expect it. If this content made sense to you, if you identified with some part of this journey, leave your like down below. This helps me know I'm on the right track and motivates me to continue creating content that really makes a difference in people's lives. And comment below what you like most here on the channel, and what you'd like to see in the next videos.